Now, this is going to be all one project, and it's kind of the same thing I done. Well, it will be along the same line as my patriotic one. That I had a limb from a tree, and I hung like some stars, a star, USA, and things on it. And I really liked it hanging in my pool table room in the window. It looks so cute. So now I'm going to make one for Christmas. And I've just picked out different things pertaining to Christmas that will go cute on there. You can buy stuff at Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, you know, any place you can get little wood cutouts, Hobby Lobby. Pick out what you want, get you a limb, and you can make this. So I'm going to start by painting all of the pieces with the antiquing wax and folk art. And that's just going to be simple. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to let them dry. And then we'll come back and start painting them the way that I want them. Okay, I'm going to start with the stocking. And I had the top made. Then I decided I wanted some heels. So I went into my Silhouette studio, made me some heels, and my star, I wanted the star just a little bigger, so I made a little bigger of a star. So now I'm going to start on it. And I'm going to just cover this stocking in Antique White by Apple Barrel. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the toes yet and the heel. I'll set those aside. I'm just... I don't really want a full coverage because I am going to sand it back. I'm just doing this. Didn't really want to go there, but I did. And I don't have a paper towel. I'll just show how much I'm going to get on here. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with the toe and the heel and the top. All right, I have that painted, and I went ahead, since I was using the same color, and done the candy cane. Can't even pour paint without getting it all over me. And now I'm just using the Golden Sunset by Apple Barrel. And I'll probably give this 2 coats. Yeah, it's going to need 2 coats. Then, I'm not going to do a whole lot to the stocking, because I want this to look pretty primitive. It's going to be on a tree limb anyway. Stick that in there. And then, I'm just going to go around the edges of my stocking. That better be Kit Kat. Kit Kat, you better get out of there. Oh, she'll go high and start knocking everything over. And then I'll do the same with this and that. And then I'll give this a second coat and start embellishing it. This Golden Sunset is not covering well on the dark. So I am just going to go over the middle of this with, this is my star. It's all right to the edges. I'm going to go over it with some of this antique white, just so it'll fill in with the color a little better. Now that's good. I'm going to let that dry. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to put on my stocking. I know my star. I'm going to get my glue and go ahead and glue the heel and that on. Because once this is dry, I need to drill some little holes in there for a hanger. But I want this set on and dry before I do that. I'm just looking at this to see what I can do. I've got some pip berries out. So right now I'm just looking, trying to figure out what I'm going to put on them. Well, I've decided against the pip berries, so I went and got that one branch that has pieces on it like this with the little greenery on it. I think that's what I'm going to use. I had this piece torn off to use. It was just too big. So I got some of the checked. I think that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, I have got to distress my star back some. Okay, and I'm going to get my distressing ink. This is oxide. I don't normally use that, but it'll work. Okay, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and glue my star down with some hot glue. That'll hold that well enough. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to lay these down on there the way I want them, I think. Which one did I use? This one? Just those two right there, like that. I hear the bull bellering. Got to hold that there for just a little bit, and I forgot to get something to hold it with. Maybe I'll go ahead and put this on there. I may cut that off a little bit. Let's see, I'll pull that down here. Which ones? Is that smaller? Yeah, that one's smaller. And then a little one maybe right there. Okay, then now I am going to get me some regular or some other kind of glue, because especially for that, the hot glue will be all right for these, but not for that where the hanger is going to be. Okay, I think I'll just put that on the tip. Okay, and there's that. Now I'm going to get me some regular glue out and use a little hot glue too also, and glue this down, and I'm going to get my drill with my little bitty bit and drill a hole straight through here so I can use it for a hanger. You know, I might, let me try this. Just looking. I think I'm going to go around this with a little bit of the distressing ink. All right, that looks better. To me anyway. I can see, I can tell. All right, that's good. Now I'm going to get my glue and glue this on there. And then I'm probably going to move to my candy cane. But I got to clean up some of my mess here. Now, for my candy cane, I've just got a piece of, it's a dark red grosgrain ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap it around there. I did distress my edges with my, whoa, I pulled that too much. with my finger sander. Gotta let that dry or cool down. I don't have much of this. I'm pretty sure I have enough to get around my candy cane though. Okay, I'm at the end. Got plenty of ribbon. Just hold that there for a little bit. And I'm gonna, got a little pucker there, so I'm just gonna hot glue that down there so it doesn't show up on the top. And I'll cut that off. And my ribbon is, or my candy cane, I think that's all I'm going to do to it. Of course, I'll have to put a hanger on it also. Now, I'm going to move on to my star. And all I'm going to do with it is use the Golden Sunset Yellow on it. And then I'll just dress it back and then make a hanger. And that'll be all I'll do with it. And then what I have left is my tree. And then I can get my stick out. Or I have my stick sitting here. And I can start putting it all together. I have one coat on my star. And now I'm going to coat my tree. And I'm going to use English Ivy by Apple Barrel. And I have a star up here, and I'm not sure if I'll paint that or maybe get me a rusty star, a small rusty star, and put it in its place. Now, here is all of them finished. All I did to the star was I distressed it and then went around it with some distressing ink. And then on the candy cane, which I already had done, I went around it with some distressing ink, even on the ribbon. And then, if you recall my video in the collab video, I did this spindle, and I said I thought I had plans for it, and this was the plan I had for it. And I've kind of arranged them the way I want them. Yeah, the star kind of up. That's the way I want them. And to start with, I'll put the hanger on. I'll just take my wire here, this wire, and I'll just wrap it several times around on this end, several times around on this end, and that will be my hanger. And as you can see, I had these pip berries I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. I just wrapped them around loosely on there, and then hot glued it on the end. The one I done for 4th of July, I had a long piece of strips of material hanging off on one end, which was cute. I had red and blue and white, but I don't think I'm going to do that with this one for Christmas. So this is going to be hanging in my window, making sure I left plenty of room to get everything. Yeah. So I'll take my wire, and I'll stick a piece of wire in here and twirl it, with my needle nose pliers, and then just wrap it around there, cut it off, and I'll go down the row with each one of them, and this will be finished. And I forgot to add, and I should have done it at the very first of the video, if you don't have wood or you can't find some ornaments, get you some cardboard. These are really simple shapes that you could cut out of cardboard. And spindle, I don't know, you don't have to have a spindle. You can find another shape, or you can just put these into where like that. So this is made so to give you some ideas, and you can create things on your own. Really, Kit Kat? No, you've got to get down. You silly cat. All right, I have this little ornament, this little bear ornament. I have a subscriber, and it's Lisa, and I think she lives in Colorado. And she made a remark or left a comment one time that she liked the chickens, but she likes bears. So, and nobody ever does bears. And I was scrolling on Etsy, and I saw this little ornament, so I purchased it, and I've cut it out, and I'm going to paint it. And the first thing I'm going to do is coat all the pieces, all of them, in the Waverly Folk Art antiquing wax. And I'll just coat them all, and then from there I'll be back and I'll start painting. I have them all stained and they're dry. So now I'm just going to take some black paint and coat most of the pieces black. See, this will be on the underneath, so I don't really need, I'll just get the edges. Yeah, I'll just get the edges. And the arms on this one. And on the paws, I'll just paint the circles. The nose will be black. This will stay that color. And this one, I've already painted the antique white, the little heart. So I'm going to finish painting all this black and let it dry. Okay, I am going to, you can see I've sanded the back side down because I want to test it out, and that's the way I want it. So what I'm going to do is, this is a really fine sandpaper. So I'm going to go around the edges and in the middles too, because I don't want it solid black. I'm going to do that to this. The same thing, the way this looks, I'm going to do to this. And I don't know, am I going to do some on the nose probably? And then I can start putting it together. It shouldn't take too much longer. This will be finished. Now, I am going to go around the nose with some walnut distress ink. Give it some depth. Okay, and then this goes on there. I'll put a little bit on this. All right, that will glue down to that. I'm going to put a little around my heart. Okay, does that go probably a little around the paws? When I get this done, I'm going to find me some glue and start gluing it all together. Okay. I'm going to practice with this now. Yeah, that works. And there is a engraving so I can see right where they go. Okay, on the nose right here. Let's see, where do I want to put it? I've got a Posca. It's an off-white. It's called beige, but it is not a beige. Well, it is compared to the white, but I'm just going to put a little mark right there. And then some on his feet. One there. And right there. And I think that's all that needs. All right, I have it finished up. I took some of this red grosgrain ribbon, it's thin, and wrapped around his neck. I did put 2 little dots of white in his eyes, and then made some small eyebrows, and glued it all together with this super glue wood, the wood super glue that I get at Dollar Tree. And then, of course, I put a hanger on it, and it's finished. All right, Lisa. Can't say nobody makes a bear. I made you a bear. All right, y'all. Until the next one, we'll see you later.